Hi, Brenda. Welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you for having me. I'm excited about this conversation.
I am as well. So, can we start off with a little bit of your background? Would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're doing?
Sure. I come from a corporate background, which I'm sure we'll get into. But right now, I am what you would call a subconscious strategist and an energy mentor. I have over 2 decades of experience in branding and marketing and identity development. I have zero patience for fluffy mindset advice that doesn't actually move the needle for people. And for the past 12 years, I would say, I've basically been the go to person for women in business and some men. I do work with men who are done forcing strategies that just don't fit themselves. Like, I love working with the high capacity entrepreneurs and the coaches and the service providers to help them create those consistent 5 figure months using tools like human design as a strategy tool to help them clarify their message and attract the right clients and create subconscious beliefs that actually support their growth. I work in the subconscious. It's my favorite place to work.
So, you said human design. Did I hear you correctly?
Yes.
What can you tell us what that means? Because I've never heard that term before. Human design seems like something out of a textbook or a genetics like experiment. So what is that when you say that?
I'm going to explain it in my way of explaining it. And I'm also going to preface this by when it came into my life 10 years ago, I thought it was stupid. I was like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. It was very esoteric. It was very airy fairy. It looked like a cross between an electrical panel and a coloring book. Anyways, human design is not another personality quiz or another label. It's a very precise, grounded framework that really shows us how your energy is actually built to function before the world layered all of the conditioning on top of you. And so, most personality typing tools, and I love them, but most of them, they all rely on your mind's perception of yourself, right? And that's the flaw. They're asking you to answer questions about yourself through filters that you've carried since childhood, conditioning, expectations, who you think you should be. So oftentimes the results aren't consistent. I remember working in corporate doing the Myers Briggs or something. I did it 3 times and got different answers. Anyways, human design bypasses all of that because it's calculated using your exact birth time, your date, and your place of birth. And so what you're getting isn't an option, it's the mechanics of you. It can show us how you're meant to make decisions, how you're naturally meant to speak to people, who you're meant to speak to, what can burn you out, what feels good when you're creating things. And it's based on threads of astrology and the I Ching and quantum physics and other ancient frameworks. But you don't need to be spiritual to use this. And I think part of the challenge that even I've only just started talking about it as a tool because so many people who use it in a very surface level, mystical, confusing way, and they make people dependent on them, whereas I'm using it as a tool to help people understand themselves. Did that answer your question?
A little bit. So, can you give me an example of, for example, of a client that you've had that's come to you, that's an entrepreneur, how you were able to take the human design and just if you could walk me through what that was able to show, I guess, for lack of a better word, the way.
Yeah. So it's really interesting because energy work has always been foundational in what I do. And I've realized over the past few years that it's the fastest way for me to help my clients see and understand their energy. So, I have so many examples of people. One of my clients is a doctor. She's a celebrity doctor. She travels all over the place and she was burning out. Now, you could look at it and go, yeah, because she's traveling all over the place and she's working with clients all over the world. But when we sat down and we looked through how her actual like how she's built, we could see how her energy was not meant to be constantly going. She had to have these moments where she was kind of self-reflecting and hermiting. But where it got even deeper with her is she's building her practice. She's building out a clinic. She already has a clinic, but she's bringing people into it. And so we've been able to use it to help her bring the right doctors into her practice, because what was happening was she was attracting the wrong people because the words she was using to bring them in didn't match the energy. So one of the things I always talk about is energy speaks before your mouth even opens. And if you think that's airy-fairy, you've experienced it. How many times have you walked into a room or you've met somebody and you've gone, no, there's something, I don't like their energy, there's something about them. So with her, we've been able to get crystal clear on how she's how she's designed to build the business, who she's meant to speak to, how she's meant to speak to them, and how her energy is going to resonate out in the world. We've literally been able to see this is how you are meant to show up in the world. She was trying to force herself to show up on social media because she'd been working with somebody whose strategy, and I'm going to use air quotes there, was be on social media, go viral. Her ideal clients don't need that. She's not meant to be out there going viral. So when she stopped trying to do that and she started using strategies that were working for her energy, everything changed for her. Even her income went up. Like, it's
So,
wild. It's like a
so
user guide for the human being. That's what I would call it.
okay, that's interesting. So then, how does energy profiling fit in, or is that what you're talking about?
So that's a piece of my energetic profiling. I call it energetic profiling. That's my process for helping you understand how like your energy, your emotions, and your subconscious are all wired and working together, and how when you live and lead from a space that actually works for you and not against you, everything kind of shifts. So here, I'll put it this way. Most coaches start in the mind. They're focusing on thoughts or strategy, and I'm really starting at the subconscious level where your beliefs and your emotions and your identity are actually formed. So I'm actually starting with subconscious reprogramming and emotional release work to clear any patterns that might be keeping you in survival mode or self-doubt. And then we layer in the human design as a strategic tool to help show us how you're designed to make decisions, how you're designed to communicate, how you're designed to create. So it's kind of like a layered.
I see. So energetic profiling gives you information about yourself and where you are, maybe
Yeah.
at the present moment.
Yeah.
Human design allows you to take that information and tells you how you can leverage it to get whatever desired result you're striving for in your
Absolutely. You said it perfectly. It's designed to show you your potential and possibilities. It is not saying this is who you are, you need to function like this. It's saying when you're functioning based on how you're designed, these are the possibilities and the potentials that can open for you. That's why I love it.
Okay. Well, that sounds pretty interesting. I'm very tempted to say, well, what do you feel about my energy? What energy am I emanating right now?
Well, I can tell you this, if your energy sucked, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
All right, well that's good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're helping clients rebuild from the inside out. What does the process look like when someone's, in the middle of a big life change or career change or something to that extent?
Well, reinvention is scary. I mean, I've been through it. I'm in my 50s now. I've gone through it a couple times. And so for me, I look at it like reinvention isn't like we're just rebranding ourselves. It's an identity rebuild. And so most people know that they want more, but they can't see what that looks like yet. So we've got the old version of success, which doesn't quite fit anymore. It doesn't feel good. But the next chapter isn't clear. So for a lot of people that I work with, even dreaming bigger doesn't feel safe to them. And so that's kind of like the in-between space where I'm working in when you've outgrown the old life, but you don't trust the new stuff coming in. The first thing we want to do for people is create the safety inside of them so their subconscious feels safe to open up to those new possibilities and potentials. Because if it doesn't, clarity's never going to land. Your system has to feel safe.
So it sounds like what you're describing are some mental blocks that people have that keeps them from going to the next stage or the next level or the next mission or the next thing? Having worked with a lot of different clients, are there mental blocks that you see over and over again, or that you've seen over and over again in your practice?
Yes, and I love this question because what's funny is I don't actually believe that we have blocks. I believe we have self imposed limitations that we've picked up on based on beliefs that we've gathered through our lifetime. But I will say it like this: the biggest limitation or block that people think they have, and that I see so much, even I see it in the highest of performers, is this belief that their worth is earned through more hard work, that you have to work hard to make the money. And I'm not saying you don't have to work hard and take actions. I'm saying our worth shouldn't be tied to that. So many of these like high achieving women, especially, they equate safety with control. So what I mean by that is they have this belief that if they slow down at all, everything falls apart. They have to keep going. Well, if I'm not pushing, if I'm not doing this, it doesn't work. If I'm not doing this, I don't make money. If I'm not doing this, I'm not successful. So there's this place, this mindset of like, even when their body is starting to shut down on them, because that's what happens to a lot of high performers, their body is literally screaming, I need rest. And they can't because they believe that if they stop or slow down, they lose it all.
Well,
So with them especially, this is a great place where human design comes in because their design can show us in certain energy centers how they are designed. Like some energy types are literally built to have spurts of working through things, where some are built to do multiple things and some are built to do one thing and focus on that. Like it's fascinating. I love what I do.
okay, but it sounds like what you described, or the type of issue you just described, is really comes from like some sort of childhood, maybe trauma, and now they have this fear that they need to be in control. Years and years and years of programming. How do you align them and actually get them to think differently? It's not something that, I mean, it might start with a kind of an epiphany, but I imagine there's some behavioral modification that needs to come into play. There needs to be some effort to go into it, but also, it's something that needs to be maintained. So how do you get your clients to sort of move the needle in their habits? Because it really comes down to like thought patterns and thought habits.
Yeah. And it also comes down to we can have trapped emotional energy inside of us. So, this is why I'm always starting with the subconscious reprogramming and the emotional release work to get to the root of things. Now, what I will say to people, I'm not here to bring you back and have you sit in the crap. I want to bring you to the present moment. When we are doing the subconscious work, I'm using a tool that's whole brain activation. So some people have experienced things like EMDR. It's like that, but not EMDR. I'm not using that. But I'm activating both hemispheres of your mind at the same time so that we can test belief statements and see if you believe something to be true. And if you do, great. And if you don't, we can change the pattern of belief in the moment. And then in between you seeing me, you're using custom hypnosis programs. I studied hypnosis for several years. It's one of my favorite tools. It's a great way to accelerate the transformation and anchor in the things we're doing on our sessions. The way I use the hypnosis, you're using it at bedtime. One of my clients calls it his Brenda lullabies. Taking the hypnosis, you're going to sleep because the last thing your subconscious mind hears is what it'll keep working through for you. You're letting your subconscious do what it's designed to do for you without your conscious mind getting in the way. We
So
so
I
that
was just
that
gonna
go ahead.
I was gonna say I listen to podcasts as I fall asleep. So are you saying you create a Brenda lullaby for your clients? And so what is that? What is that? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, he calls them lullabies because my hypnosis programs are literally designed to put you to sleep and help you have the best sleep you've ever had while your subconscious is reworking through some things. And in some cases, the hypnosis program might simply be a deep relaxation program to help you calm your system down so that we can get in there and look and see, okay, are there any trapped emotional issues you might be hanging on to? And we clear that energy using a traditional Chinese kind of method. We're using the meridians in your body. But the other thing is, most people don't feel safe and contained in their own energy. So, on top of the subconscious stuff that we start with, one of the first things I'm doing is I'm giving people, and I'm going to give you the link to it actually. You can give it to all your listeners. You can try it out. It's a 4.5 minutes, okay? It's an audio program that helps you clear anything that might not be yours, connects you to the earth and God or universe or whoever you speak to, and it puts you in your protective bubble. Not out of fear, out of your energy is sacred. We all walk around like sponges. People are picking up other people's stuff and it's not even theirs. 90% of the time when somebody comes to me, they have collected so much stuff that isn't theirs. The first step is helping them recognize, this belongs to me. Oh, that's not mine. Have you ever been in a room with people and you're in one mood and then you leave and you're in a completely other mood and you can't explain why? A lot of the times it's because you've picked something up from somebody. They're not intentionally dumping it on you. But on a subconscious and energetic level, that's what happens. We are energetic beings. We have frequencies pinging in and out of us all day long. This isn't woo, it's science.
Okay, so I like the idea of getting rid of everything that's not mine, but I feel like may need a little bit more than 4 minutes. But I
Yeah.
am very excited about, listening to what you're going to be sending our way, definitely.
Yeah, it's cool. And you know what? Sometimes it's called a daily energy management practice for a reason. I don't create things that are hours and hours long. You want to know why? Because the people who work with me have enough going on. And if I was to say, hey, I need you to listen to this hour-long program every day, and then I need you to listen to this other thing, you wouldn't do it. The tools I use and create are designed to be quick and effective. I once worked with somebody years ago. She had me doing a half an hour meditation in the morning, another one at lunch, and another one at nighttime. First of all, who has that amount of time? Second of all, my subconscious didn't know what was going on. I didn't know if I was coming or going. There needs to be integration time. So everything I do is efficient because nobody wants to add more to their plate. We want to make life simpler. I love that
Okay.
you're like, I don't know. I feel like I might need longer. You're going to be, I'm excited about you trying it.
I think because I've never gone through anything like that, I need a little bit longer to cleanse my subconscious.
Well, and the 4.5 minute isn't about cleansing the subconscious. It's about keeping your energetic system clean.
So, for someone listening, someone on paper is successful, but inside is feeling disconnected, where would you say they should start? What could they do to gain a little bit of insight and start going down the path of figuring out their energy?
Start small, honestly. Start small and be honest with yourself. You have to take some time to reflect on things and get very honest with yourself. And this is what makes people uncomfortable, right? Because we don't naturally want to admit that something might be wrong. So ask yourself questions like, where in my life am I performing instead of actually living? Because I can tell you, when I worked in corporate, it was all a performance. I was checking off the boxes, I was doing the things. It was a performance. I felt so unfulfilled. I remember sitting there one time thinking, is this it? Is this my life? So get very honest about where in your life you are performing instead of truly living. And then I want you to ask yourself, like, what feels heavy to me? Even though on the outside it might look successful. So maybe you're making the money, maybe you're doing the things, but does it feel good to you? Like, do you feel lit up by it? And I also want people to ask themselves, what am I craving? Or what do I desire that I've just been not willing to admit that that's what I want. Take one small step by answering those questions, and then take one action that moves you closer to the truth of what you actually want. Say no to something, delegate something. It does not have to be. Stop pretending you're fine when you're not fine. That's a big one. And listen, you're not going to find the clarity or the alignment overnight. You're going to build it every time you're honest with yourself. And you know what other one step I would get you to do? Listen to the 4.5 minute daily energy management program that I'm going to send you. Because when
Okay.
you're safe and contained in your own energy, clarity can come in easier because you know what's yours and what isn't.
So this 4.5 minute program helps me find my energy.
It helps you get clear. It helps you get rid of the static. Okay, this is really gonna show you how old I am. So remember AM FM radios? I don't know how old your listeners are, but like if your frequencies on FM, but you're trying to tune into AM, they're static. Being safe and contained in your own energy clears the static. And yes, you might have to do the program more than once during the day when you're just starting out. But eventually, do it in the morning before you start seeing people, or do it in the morning and before bedtime. That's what I do. I
Okay.
use everything. I do not teach anything that I am not using. Everything I teach is based on my lived experiences.
Well, that's great, and that's good to know. I'm already looking forward to it. Do you have types of clients that you really enjoy working with? Like, what kind of people do you derive the most satisfaction when you're able to help them?
I actually love people like you who are a little bit skeptical at first. But I love working with the people who really want to be making an impact in the world and love what they're doing and also get paid well doing it. We're allowed to make money. I love the people who have this vision and they come in and they're like, I feel like I'm meant for something and I'm meant to be doing something bigger, but I don't know what it is. I love helping those people get clear. I love the people who maybe are just starting out or maybe they've had success and they're not making the consistent money they want to be making, because that's a big thing too. I love those people. High capacity people. That's how I would put them in one word. High capacity, high integrity people.
And what do you find most challenging in working with high capacity people?
You know what I'm going to say about that is that I don't tend to, at this point in my career, attract the people who aren't willing to do the work. In the beginning, I was attracting some of them who were like, I'm too busy. I forgot to do the 4.5 minute thing. The people who come to work with me now are very intentional about stuff, very open minded, and very curious. So I wouldn't say that I have a lot of challenging clients at this point. I think one of the biggest challenges, and it's also a challenge that I face, is helping them grow while they stay aligned with what feels good to them. And what I mean by that is, even with all of the tools I have and all of the people that I've helped, it's really easy to get pulled into trends. It's really easy to get pulled into other people's timelines or their shoulds or their strategies or the quick fixes, the hacks. So I think the challenge and the gift is to help people keep expanding without abandoning the integrity of the work they're doing and the values that they have. And that goes for me too. Like if somebody comes in, they're like, I just want to make a lot of money, probably not my ideal client. Because if you're not in this to also make an impact on people, it's going to be very hard for you. You might make a lot of money. It's not going to be sustainable and you'll probably burn out and you'll probably end up resenting everything down the road.
So so you've been doing this for 12 years now. Obviously, you sound like you have no regrets. It sounds like you're loving what you do. But what have been some challenges that you've faced running and maintaining and growing your own business?
Not trusting myself and not listening to myself and not using my own tools because I got sucked into this idea that I had to build my business a certain way and it had to look a certain way. And that really took me off course for a little bit. I ended up working with a top coach. I invested a lot of money And there were a lot of promises and not a lot of things were actually delivered. And I'm not putting that on the coach per se. I'm putting it on myself for feeling like I had to fit into that mold. So that's been the biggest challenge, is not staying true to who I am and what feels good to me and putting myself out there in a way that feels good to me. But I recognize now I have a pattern, like we all have patterns. My pattern is, if somebody's trying to squish me into a strategy that doesn't actually work for me, I will just not show up. Like, I won't pitch things. I won't show up on social media. I go quiet. So when that happens, I'm like, oh, was this the right decision for me? No. And feel like also there, and we had kind of talked about this, there's what I would call it a trust epidemic right now in the coaching industry. And I think it started when marketing started to get louder than mastery. I think there's a lot of promises out there and not a lot of embodiment. Like, we saw this explosion of like quick fix coaching that prioritized performance over depth and results and no regulation, and a lot of disillusionment. So that's been my biggest challenge, is not getting sucked into the you can make 7 figures in 7 days type of crap. I feel like there's a lot of, I call them grifters. There's a lot of grifter coaches out there, a lot of people offering things that they don't actually deliver on, creating these hopes and promises for people who really are good people who want to do good work. So I feel like that's been my biggest challenge, not getting sucked into the golden carrot is what I'm going to call it. And
Yeah,
recognizing too, my business doesn't have to grow as fast as somebody else's. I don't need a team of 20 people. And to be honest, I don't want to build a business that requires me to have a team of 20 people. I left corporate for a reason.
right, right. Well, I definitely hear you, coaches
Yeah.
promising you the golden egg and not delivering. Perhaps too many people have been through that experience because I'm one as well.
There's so many people. I would say probably 80% of the people who come to work with me have invested so much money in stuff and coaches and programs and things that didn't deliver. And so that's why, for me, it's really important to have these conversations. I think it's really important to be transparent, like what actually works. Hey, guess what? When you work with me, it's not always going to be comfortable, but like, I'm also not here to blow smoke up your bum and say it's going to be a quick fix and all you have to do is this one thing, because that's not how this works.
Thank you for that perspective, and thank you for bringing up the trust epidemic. And thank you for being a guest today. I've had a great conversation, and what I will do is when you send me that 4.5 minute, is it audio?
It's an audio program. Literally, you're
It's
just going to sit and listen to it.
okay, great. Well, I'm definitely going to sit and listen to it, and I will also definitely put it in the link under this video on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, and
So
you know
thank you.
what? I want to hear how it goes. Like, I'm not just sending this to you for fun. I want to hear. I want you to use it for like 7 days
Okay,
and get back
7 days.
to me. Yeah.
I will. I will do that. Definitely. I like
Cool.
trying new things. I like learning new things, and I like gaining more, understanding more about myself and learning more about myself and gaining like positivity in general. I value
Yeah.
that in my life. So,
See, you just said something really important there, and that goes back to the people I like to work with are people who want to understand themselves better and own their power versus giving it away.
yes, I am one of those people. So, well, thank you for coming on the show, Brenda. It was a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you for
Really
having
enjoyed
me.
our conversation.
Me too. Thank you for having me.